What's up, softball players? I'm Coach Dan Blewett. In today's video, let's talk about long toss. Should softball players long toss? How should they go about long tossing? And does long toss actually work to help improve velocity, accuracy, and throwing mechanics? So today's video topic, long toss. All right, so if you're new here, I'm Coach Dan Blewett. I'm a former pro pitcher and baseball and softball academy owner. So in today's video about long toss is great. Let's just get right to it. There's a lot of things. There's some pros and some cons, but when we had our softball teams in my academy, we would encourage our girls at least once or twice a week to do some long toss as part of their practices or on their own time to develop arm strength. Now, there are some things to discuss about long toss, but it is something that I think every player should be doing. All right, so first, let's talk about what long toss is. Now, it's really simple and it can be whatever you want it to be, but in general, it makes the most sense to start close, obviously, and just go back as your arm sort of wants to, as it allows. You don't need to go back 5 feet for every 3 throws or 10 feet for every 5 throws. Just slowly pace it back as your arm warms up, and then your goal is to get, if it's a day where you can really throw it far and like spend some time doing it, is to get to your max distance at a slightly uphill angle, not a really high rainbow arc angle, but like imagine if you were in the deep outfield and you're trying to throw it all the way to the plate in the air. You'd have some loft on it, but you also wouldn't throw it up into the clouds. That's a good way to think about it. Imagine you're always throwing a ball that's on the field that has an intended target. So once you've spent some time slowly warming up, slowly stretching it out, and you get to your max distance, challenge yourself. Throw far for a while, stay back there, whether it's 5 throws, 10, 15, 20 throws at your max distance, and challenge yourself to both throw it past your partner or continue to increase the distance, or if you can hit your partner with a loft, try to hit him with a little less loft. Try to throw it a little bit more on the line and see if you can make it there in the air that way. And then once you start to get a little tired and you're ready to start coming back in, come back in slowly and throw them hard on a line. Take that really long throw and sort of crunch it down, compress it into a sharp, cuttable throw, like you're an outfielder and you're throwing it to the plate. That's how you do it in long toss. And then as you get closer, where you're back down to like 20 or 30 yards, like 50, 60 feet, that's when you can start to work on your footwork if you're an infielder, your footwork if you're a catcher, or your outfield pro set footwork, which you'd probably be using already as an outfielder. But you can start to do more positions, player stuff, cool back down, and then end your game of long toss. So start slow, go back at your own pace as you get warm, spend some time at full distance. Once you're at full distance, throw some missiles coming back in, and then once you get back in pretty close, do some position-specific throws at a lower intensity, and then you can wrap up. That's how you long toss. Now, one thing I will mention, softball players should long toss with a baseball at least once a week. I think there are so many benefits from throwing an actual baseball rather than the big heavy softball. And I've seen over and over players that grew up throwing a baseball in the backyard before they started throwing a softball tend to have better mechanics and stronger arms than girls who didn't. And I think this makes sense because baseball players don't have most of the mechanical issues that softball players do when there's no real anatomical difference. So I really would encourage you to long toss both with a softball and to tinker with doing it with a baseball, because I think both can have a really tremendous benefit. So let's now go into some of the reasons that long toss can benefit softball players. All right, so number one, it teaches a good weight shift by forcing you to throw uphill. So a lot of problems that I see with softball players are because when they feel ground balls, they get on their front leg too quickly and their front shoulders tend to droop, and then they tend to get around the ball. When you're long tossing, you have to shift weight into your back hip longer, and you have to move your hip bones and your shoulders in an uphill direction, which you then shift sort of like a Ferris wheel towards your target. So good long tossers are also good weight shifters. It is very difficult to throw a long distance while leaking weight onto your front side too soon. So almost every softball player is going to benefit from long toss at some slight uphill angle because it teaches them to be better with their weight shift, to have a better stride, and to go with uphill shoulders, quote unquote, as you throw. This is something that you'll need, especially as an outfielder, and even as an infielder or catcher. You've got to have enough weight in your back hip where you can still use your front side and shift your weight later. The next benefit that can come from long toss for softball players is it helps you control your front side better. So one of the big reasons players lose accuracy is because their front side opens up too soon. So what this looks like is this. If my front side opens up too soon, I'm here when I'm ready to throw instead of being here where I'm closed off. So when you throw longer and longer distances, this problem manifests itself as your arm really dragging and the ball will start to go farther and farther off course. So if you're long tossing with your partner and they're over 100 feet away and your front side really leaks open a lot, you're gonna start to really miss your partner and you're gonna lose a lot of velocity. So when you long toss, it forces your body almost automatically to start to learn to stay closed longer because it both helps your accuracy and it helps keep your velocity up. So front side control is one of the major benefits that you get from long tossing. Now, along that same lines, long toss can definitely help with accuracy. So if you're a player who has command issues from time to time or consistently, think about it. If you're making a 150-foot throw and hitting your partner with pretty good accuracy around their body or even directly in their chest, that shows a really high level of accuracy across the diamond, right? So the farther you can be accurate, the more accurate you're going to be on infield play or throwdowns to second base as a catcher. Next, the other really big benefit from long toss for softball players is curing a lack of intensity and follow through. So follow through is something that I don't believe should be coached because it should always happen naturally. If you throw a ball as hard as you can, you will always have a really good follow through because you're still accelerating the ball so long that your arm needs that extra runway to slow down. But lots of softball players, they lack this intensity and they're giving up on the throw and they're afraid to throw too hard, sometimes because they don't want to hurt their friends if it's a short throw. But there's a lot of a lack of intensity in softball where players are throwing darts and they're slowing their arm down because they don't want to throw too hard or they're afraid of making an overthrow. This needs to stop, and one of the great ways to get out of that habit of is to challenge yourself to throw it as far as you can. If you're trying to hit your partner in the chest and they just moved 5 feet farther back and it was already tough to make it there, you're gonna add a little intensity and your arm is gonna keep speeding up, and that's gonna benefit both your follow through and your throwing intensity in general. Chances are, if you're watching this, you know either you, your daughter, or someone you coach, or someone on your daughter's team is suffering from this lack of intensity. I'm sure you can think of someone you know who throws too gingerly because they're afraid to let it go. And long toss is a huge help in fixing that problem. And the last benefit of long toss for softball on the mechanical side is, and of course there's some other benefits, but the major one that I want to cover is pushing the ball. Lots of players get this low elbow where they push the ball, and this is exceedingly difficult to throw long that way. And so when you long toss and you have that good weight shift and you're going uphill, this helps to teach your elbow to climb above the ball because you're literally throwing uphill. So for some players who have this low elbow problem, which is a difficult problem to solve, it's never just one drill or one magic thing. It's usually a confluence of factors. But for a lot of players, long toss can really help them get the feel of their elbow going above rather than dropping and pushing through. So if you are a player or you know a player who has a low elbow issue, long toss, especially with a baseball more so than a softball, can help you get the feel for recreating that good arm action that goes up over top of the ball instead of down and beneath it, okay? So for low elbows, long toss can, not in all cases, but can be a good help, a good fix. Now, a couple things to note. Long toss is not right for everyone. There are studies on the baseball side that showed that high angle long toss, so really bombing it out at like a 45-degree angle, can increase stress on the elbow. So that's something to understand. Long toss is not always agreeable with everyone's arm and everyone's body. The other thing to remember is that if you're on a really competitive team where you're playing, 5 games of softball on a weekend and a couple games through the week and you have a bunch of practices, it might be unrealistic to introduce a lot of extra long toss into your week because it might just be too much and you don't want to overuse your arm. So you have to be smart about when you long toss and when it makes sense as part of your overall training regimen. For a lot of players, it's in preseason, especially if you're in a warm state where you can get outside and throw it a little farther. Or it's in like the month of August when softball is kind of winding down. You maybe have a month or two before you shut down completely and give yourself a break. Those are usually good times of years to do it. But again, if you're throwing every day already, you don't necessarily want to add another 50 or 100 throws of long toss on top of that workload. And lastly, it's important just to remember what long toss is. It's not a magic pill, and it doesn't magically build arm strength just because you long toss. You're throwing the same ball over and over. That's why I actually do recommend using a softball and a baseball. But just like if you were in the weight room and you always did 100 pounds on your squats forever, you really would stop getting stronger after a while. And so throwing the same ball over and over and over isn't necessarily the best way to increase your velocity long term. There's lots of different ways that I'm not going to cover in this video, but just remember that long toss is not just like some magical arm strength building thing. It's another type of training and another type of essentially drill that you can do that, when mixed with the whole picture of good training, can help benefit your throwing mechanics and your throwing speed and accuracy. But it's not the end all be all. Sometimes people, especially on the baseball side, they put long toss into this special category that you have to long toss, and if you do long toss, you'll throw really hard. Again, it's just one other tool in your toolbox that I believe softball players absolutely should use, but you have to use it the right times of year, the right dosage, like I said, once or twice a week, as long as you're not throwing too much and you're having too many games. And just, you have to listen to your body too and make sure you're not having any pain or discomfort doing it, and that you're not getting into this overuse category because you're throwing way too much for the week as a whole. All right, so that's it for my video here today on long tossing for softball. Whether you're a slow pitch player or a fast pitch player, doesn't matter. I think it's a great tool that has a lot of benefits, but again, you have to use it properly. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the description below. And again, check out my online throwing courses, my Patreon page, all that good stuff to help support the channel. Thanks again, I'll see you in the next video.